Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lainey. Thank you so much for stopping by. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a continuation on my indie single swatch party series, and today we are doing blue eyeshadow. So if you're interested in seeing that, then just keep on watching. Before we get into that though, if you're new here, please remember to hit that subscribe button so you never miss another video from me. Alright, so this is episode 2 in my indie single swatch party series. I'm doing comparisons, I'm talking about colors, how they differ in formula. Really excited. I'm glad you guys really enjoyed the green eyeshadow video. Today we're doing blue. Before we get into it, I forgot to mention in my last video, I'm only doing my shimmer eyeshadows. If you guys are interested in seeing my indie mattes, I can do just like one video on the matte shadows. So let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that. I don't have nearly as many mattes, so I think it would be a little bit of a longer video, but I would just probably do it all in one. So let's hop into it. We're gonna do blue. I have one palette. This is my blue palette. At the top, we have more greeny blues. I have some other greeny blues that are in my green video that I thought were more on the green side. I determined these were more on the blue side. And I try to order these to be by similar colors, but again, duochromes can be very difficult. So, yeah, I'm really excited. What I'm actually going to do is start out by swatching these two because they are, I just want to do those two. And then we're going to go kind of row by row and do the swatches. So without further blabbering, because this is probably going to be another long video, let's get into it. I forgot to do my nails before this video, although this is like 2 weeks of wear and I feel like it's pretty good for 2 weeks. I forget the name. This is a Zoya nail polish. I will put it on the screen what shade it is. Zoya nail polishes last so well. So, I mean, I feel like for 2 weeks of wear, really the worst nails are my pinky or my pointer fingers, which is always the case. So that's the nail polish I'm wearing, if you're wondering. But let's get started in the swatches. Like I said, I'm gonna do these two because they're kind of different from everything else. And so first up, we've got Genesis from Lethal Cosmetics. This is in my Battleship Project pan. I have this very lightly on the inner corner, but you really can't tell. So this is really pretty in the pan, but I have to say this formula is not my favorite. I don't have a ton of Lethal Cosmetics shimmers just because they are simply not my favorite. So this is Genesis, if it wants to focus. It's got a nice shift. It's just not super sparkly and metallic. I find it can almost go on a little bit satin when you actually apply it to the eyelid. You really gotta use a nice sticky eyeshadow primer to really get it to show up on your lids in a very sparkly way. So this is just not a formula I would recommend. You'll notice I don't have a ton of Lethal Cosmetics shimmers. I have some, but I just don't have a ton. I actually have 4 other ones in this palette, so they tend to be blues and purples. I also forgot to mention I am just filming in natural daylight in the window in front of me. I do have 2 trees in my front yard, but I feel like the light is coming in pretty well. And then I have my overhead they're just like a warm light bulb. So that's my lighting situation. I like to do it this way to show off how the shift would look like in just kind of everyday life. So with that out of the way, let's get into my second swatch. Now these are very similar in the pan and how they're supposed to show up, but really, can anything top the Cosmos from Terra Moons? I don't think so. This just is, I feel like, an iconic indie shade. This is initially, just by touch and look on the finger, this is significantly chunkier. This is not creamy whatsoever. This is kind of a dry formula. And it's quite flaky, but like, they don't compare. They don't compare at all. You can definitely smooth the Cosmos out a bit. I would say it still shows off a little bit of texture on the eye, but look at the blue, just silvery purple shift. Like, what is this color? This is just like a gorgeous eyeshadow that I feel like if you're gonna purchase from Terra Moons, like, this is a must buy just because it's just so gorgeous. So those are those 2 shadows. Let me add them Let me pop them back into my palette. And so now let's go into the kind of more blue-based teal shadows. This one, I don't know, I kept tossing it, I don't know, it's more of a mint. So I put it in here just to compare the two Cliona shades. So the first shade I have is Ripple. This is, I believe, a glitter multi-chrome, but I'm not 100% sure. This is from Cliona, if I hadn't said already. This, obviously, on the finger looks a little bit chunky. It's a nice kind of blue mint shade. And this is the swatch. So it definitely looks more green, but I would call it a mint for sure. Maybe I should have put it in with my greens, but you know, again, it's hard to categorize these colors sometimes when they verge the line. So I think you can tell there's definitely shimmers. It's a little bit textured. I don't find that it bothers me on my eyelids. I find I can get not focusing. I find my eyelids can look a little bit textured. It's just how my eyes are. But this formula in particular does not bother me. Next up, we've got Lineage, which I believe is a vibrant multi-chrome from them. This is also in my Battleship project. And this is obviously, like, upon just swatching it, definitely not as chunky. Also has a more apparent pinky shift to it. And this is more blue. So where you can tell this is much more mint, Lineage is much more blue, and as you can tell, it's a lot smoother on the swatch. It's not, it doesn't have those kind of shimmer particles going through it. The next single shadow I have is the shade Venom from Lethal Cosmetics. This, just looking at it, you can tell it is not as sparkly, not as shiny, which is why I typically don't purchase their shimmers. They've improved a lot over the years, but I think you can tell it's just more of a regular shimmer. It's not anything super sparkly or special or textured. It's not really a duochrome, it's just a shimmer. Next up, I have what I feel like looks like in the pan a comparable shade to Venom. Hey, Scooter. But I know it's going to be a lot more sparkly and textured. This is Draco from Divina. This is, I believe, from their Star Chasers collection. I will have that information at the bottom like I did for the green video. Scooter's trying to get my attention, but he's going to have to deal. And, okay, this is looking not as blue as Venom, but they definitely look like they'd be closer in the pan. This is a little bit more on the green side. So it's definitely more sparkly, but I wouldn't say it's like super textured in any way. Next up, I have Aquila from Divina. This is going just a little bit darker now. So this is Aquila. This is a green. What am I doing? I'm sorry, guys. I feel like when shadows blur the line between green and blue, it was really hard to categorize them. But that is Aquila. I think you can tell it's a little bit more textured. It didn't go on as smoothly, but it's really pretty and really sparkly. Next up, we've got the shade Lucid from Lethal Cosmetics. This one I find has a little bit of a shift, a little bit more sparkle to it than some of their others. It's definitely a more thicker formula. It's not super thin, but I think you can tell it has a little bit of a shimmer shift going through it. I'm sorry if you can hear Scooter. He's just mad I won't pat him right now. But it's a really pretty shadow. I actually really like this shadow from Lethal Cosmetics. I think it's nice. Next up, we have two Divina multi-chromes to share with you. They both look the same head on, but they have different shifts. So these are it, and I feel like looking at it, you could say those are pretty similar. This one is Polaris, this one is Borealis, but this one shifts purple, where this one shifts blue. So they look the same there, but we've got purple and we've got blue. And these, again, are super smooth, unlike any shadow I've touched aside from these. Like, they are very, very smooth. Here they are on the finger. I think you can tell the shift. So again, Polaris, which is one of my favorites, and this is Borealis, which is more of the blue shift. So, oh, they're so pretty. So we've got Polaris and Borealis. So That's the shift. I would say Polaris, the shift is much more apparent just because you're going kind of from a teal to a blue with this one, where this is going to a purple. So really, really pretty. If I were to recommend one, it would definitely be Polaris, and it's just gorgeous. So now we're getting into more of the true blues. I find these all are from Divina. They're going to be from different collections. Again, I will have it down below. I find Divina has a lot of light blues that are just subtly different. So I'm going to try to articulate all of those in this video. So first up, we've got the shade Nerds. Very, very light blue. This is flaky in the pan, like you pull up a lot, but I don't think it actually looks flaky on the finger. So let's go right here. It's kind of a blue with a gold shift. Really, really pretty. I like this for the inner corner. It's not something I would necessarily do like on my lid. It'd be more of like an inner corner shade for me. Next up, we've got Rain Tarts, which it's kind of a similar formula where, like, I think you can see, like, when I touched it, it brought up like kind of flakes of shadow. And I think when you look at it on my finger, you can tell it's a lot flakier. So swatching it out, I think you can tell this is almost iridescent, and it's got like a purple shift running through it. So this one, I think you can really see the gold shift, and this is just completely different. Next up, we've got Swudge, which I think is just a hint deeper than the other two, but still light. This is kind of a similar formula to the first one, the Nerds shade. And here is Swudge. So this is kind of like a light blue with, I guess, like a lighter blue shift, a little bit purpley. So that's Swudge. Then we've got Twinkle Toots from Divina. This one I feel like has more of a green shift to it. And again, this one's a little bit flakier, similar to the second one I swatched. This looks like it's going to be a more greeny blue with a gold shift. So here is Twinkle Toots. Definitely flakier. And so I feel like, yeah, like you can see they're different, but you probably don't need all of them. So let me get into the next one, which is Everlasting Gobstoppers. This one's a little bit smoother. And I'm gonna swatch it up here. So again, different, but definitely not similar. And lastly, I don't think this is similar to the other ones I just showed, but this is just what's next. This is Altair from Divina. This one is definitely more of a medium blue. It's got some purple running through it, so I'll just swatch this up here. And I think you can tell that is not similar to anything we've swatched so far. So that's Altair. Okay, so moving on to the next one. I'm actually going to re-swatch Altair because I want to compare it to the next blues. I don't necessarily think there's dupes, but I just want to show, you know, the subtle differences. So once again, we've got Altair. This is a really pretty blue with just like a purple shift running through it. Next up, we've got a lethal shade. This is Aurora. This is originally from the Nightflower palette, but you can get it as a single. So I feel like these are kind of similar in blue tone, but this one, it's just more of a shimmer. There's not necessarily much of a purple shift running through it. So that is Aurora. Next up, we actually have a Cleona metallic shadow. So this is not one of their stained glass shadows. This is Arctic Circle. And there is not much to the shadow. I mean, I feel like this is just a shimmer. It's nothing spectacular. It's a little bit deeper of a shade, but there's not really like a shift of any kind going on. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm just kind of pointing out that there's no shift. Next up, we've got Confetti Kisses from Davina. This is another like blue with a purple shift, purple sparkle running through it. Really, really pretty. Definitely not the same as Altair because this is a lighter blue base where this is a darker blue base. But it's really, really pretty and it's got a nice sparkle running through it. Then we have a Cliona stained glass shadow. This is Crown Jewel, which I believe is a vibrant multi-chrome. I will confirm on the screen. And as you can see, it's a blue with kind of a lighter blue shift going through it. Really, really pretty. This is one I really do like to wear on the eyes. It's just really, really stunning. Next up, I have the shade from Copacetic Cosmetics. It's called Highly Unstable. This one is definitely more flaky in texture than some of the other ones. I think you can tell on my finger. Let's swatch it out. Yeah, it's definitely not smooth going on. I have worn this on the eyes before and it's really, really pretty. It's just kind of more sheer and it takes a little bit of effort to get it in a opaque layer. Almost kind of a silver, but it kind of looks blue in the pan. Again, these shades can be a struggle sometimes. Next up, I have the shade Dwalika from Glam Shop. This shadow, I don't know what the English translation is. I bought it before they started doing English translations on their shadows. But as I did in the last video, I will have both the Polish and English name on the screen. This one is definitely more sheer. Like, it's not like flaky in any way, but I do know when you apply it, it's definitely a little bit more sheer. I think you can tell in the swatch. Honestly, not that much different from Highly Unstable. Just maybe a little bit more of a transparent base. So that's Dwalika. That's what it looks like in the pan. Next up, this is Zombie. Now, I don't know if this is the original Zombie or if this is Zombie Reborn. I can't remember. I know I showed the other one in my other video, but this is Zombie from Divina. This one's definitely more on the blue side than the other one. The other one's more on the green side. And this is a darker shadow. Like, that is a moment. But if you want a bluey grunge fantasy kind of look, this is the shadow for you. It's definitely got that deep base, but with a nice blue shift going through it. And then I've got Madri Polisk from Divina. This is a turbo. Again, I will have the translation on screen because this one does not have the translation on it. This one is on the more purpley side of things, but maybe I'll swatch it in the purple video because that looked more blue in the pan. And as you can see, it's definitely more of a sheer shadow. Next, we're going into some more deeper blues. This is 347 from Divina. And this definitely has some purpleness going through it as well. So that is 347. I think you can see how it differs from Zombie. This one, they both have darker bases, but this is more blue and this is more of like a bluey purple. We got 3 more and I can tell Scooter just wants my attention. So let's try to get through this. Next up, I've got Nightlong from Lethal Cosmetics. This one I'm not super impressed by. I find it to be more on the satin side of things. It's not anything super special. I think you can kind of tell compared to the rest that it's just closer to a satin. It's not really anything super sparkly or unique. Now these definitely are like a blue purple, so I may move these to my purple section when I swatch things. This is Seance. And no, I would say this is a blue, but it's just got like a purple shift running through it. Maybe I'll show it in my purple video as well if I think I have anything similar, but that is Seance from Divina. And we're in the home stretch. We have one more. I don't think this video is nearly as long as the green one. This is Thermosphere from Divina. This is again one of their Aurora flares, so super, super smooth, not sparkly, blue to purple shift. That is Thermosphere. So here is the second round of swatches. Definitely a range of colors. My neighbor just started mowing their lawn, so hopefully you cannot hear it, but these are all of my blue shadows. Again, I find it can be hard with 1, duochromes in general, but 2, just sometimes when it blurs the line between blue and green, blue and purple, it's hard to categorize them sometimes. But I hope I did good. I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's anything you would like to see in these videos that I haven't touched on already, let me know and I will take it into consideration, or I will take that into account for my future videos. I think we're gonna do purple next and then move into the warm tones and neutrals and then end with iridescence and then a matte one if you are interested in a matte swatch fest. So I'm gonna wrap this up because my neighbor's doing their lawn. So let me know your thoughts down below. What shadow is your favorite? What's on your wish list? I would love to know. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you like down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!